What is black? What is nigger? What is words? I've never cared about money. I cared about success. I've had guns in my head more than 20 times and actually shot in one arm, which nobody truly know about. We did business from cocaine to marijuana and all the other black market scams. Credit cards, AIDS medication, all the things that is illegal, but is a business. I stopped many people from creating suicide. I stopped people from robbing others. I stopped people from paying their lawyers and getting new lawyers and getting out of the situations that they got into. It's hard to sleep when you understand the world's against you, but no one beats me. Words hurt, as they called me a criminal. Which animal's a criminal? And if I didn't learn a lesson, that makes me what? An animal? I'd rather be an animal because the human being and humankind seems to be more criminal. So my son can be my savior. And now that I'm in the Christian world, I understand the word of God and all the sacrifices that he made. Hello, audience. For those that know me, and for those who don't know me, my name is Vernon Snell, S-N-E-L-L, but the streets know me as Benson. Benson's journey of a psychological warfare that I've been challenged with all my life, but since 2021, going into 2022, has been the most extreme that I've ever witnessed in my life. Knowing that I come from Washington Heights, and I've been challenged of being fatherless, coming up in a community with predominantly Dominican people, seeing the hustle, I created an identity crisis of what African Americans are. I assumed that people was just looking for money, trying to make a living, to better themselves in life. I had no idea that drugs was coming into the neighborhood or what drugs even were. I learned it through the neighborhood and the community. And on my block, before that time, we played games, we hung out in a park, we did all the wonderful things that children do innocently. And then one day, there was an epidemic of a lot of drugs coming into the neighborhood, hustling going on, cars, women, and I was a part of that. I'm African American, I never had a connection, but I had friends that had their connections, and through their connections, I eventually worked my way up to having connections, but it wasn't as if it was easy. I'm 53 years old now. And now to think about the manipulation of the systemic challenge in our community is what haunts me. Especially to know that in 2020, my mom passed away from sugar, cancer, which they call it. And all of these ingredients that are supplied through welfare, eating her intestines away and creating this bacteria or whatever it is that causes cancer, and her eventually passing away. And during that time, I lost my whole life because I did business from the streets to restaurants, to party venues, to the marina, being a community service person, and giving people all my love throughout my energy, never truly caring about myself, just wanting to be a part of something. And I was a part of a lot, and those in Washington Heights know me. I've helped out countless amount of people. Whether I knew it was illegal or legally, I've touched so many people's hearts, especially in my party venue, Glow, that's in Walworth, New Jersey. And I put that place together with heart and sweat for a community that never embraced me. But every party, I put a whole bunch of love in it, and I visualized how they was gonna have fun before they had the fun. But for no one ever to truly appreciate or thank me, they thank maybe the face to the place, but didn't thank me. But my challenges to get to this place was enormous. I became a story writer, a storyteller, because of all this pain and sacrifice and suffering that's been happening to me throughout my life. I've never cared about money, I cared about success. And I understand the systemic challenges when it comes to media and celebrities and music. I understand what black people go through, what Spanish people go through, and what white people truly don't know, which is that we didn't create the communities that we live in, nor did we create the drugs. We didn't create the jails, we didn't create the guns. We didn't create all of the things that came into my community and ripped it apart. As a child, me growing up, I've had guns in my head more than 20 times and actually shot in one arm, which nobody truly know about. How did my friends get guns? How did we get guns? How did we get drugs? How did we become public enemy #1 when Reagan announced a war on drugs, but we had no one telling us what not to do with the drugs? There was just money being spread out in the streets. I know Dominicans from all over Washington Heights. We did business from cocaine to marijuana and all the other black market scams. Credit cards, AIDS medication, all the things that is illegal, but is a business. That's called the black market. I never wanted to be a celebrity, but I'm a celebrity in my neighborhood because everyone knows me as being that dude that'll get it done, and I get it done my way. As I've been in jail more than maybe 15 times for different crimes, from domestic violence, but never for hard-body drugs. Marijuana, yes. I faced 15 years of my life. I beat that. I faced 8 years for another case. I beat that. And I faced in 5 years. Then I beat that. I had my first trial when I was 20 years old, and I had to do it all by myself with a legal aid. That asked me what school did I go to, and I said I didn't go to school. But she listened to me, and the case got thrown out. I'm not bragging about myself as celebrities of all sorts, going to mainstream media and tell a little bit of story, and then they become icons. I just kept moving. as I created a family of 4, and I lived my life righteously, I believe, just through systemic challenges, battling the law. And I did it without thinking any harm, but I didn't sleep. I rarely slept because I always had to figure out what's going on with my family. I wanted to be a part of my life because I cared too much for people. And I never understood why people didn't care about other people. I cared about all the people, from Jewish to Dominican to Puerto Rican to Jamaican, Ukraine, Mexican, Albanian. I did business with all different types of people because everybody was in business to make money. And if everyone is talking about something being legal, then why were they after the money? Which the money was illegal, because the chemists is the ones who created all of this harm to my community. I had a very lavish lifestyle because I purchased 2 houses, one in Yonkers, one in Bergen County, New Jersey. And I raised my family outside of a war zone that they didn't realize that I was in. And I couldn't be the man or the husband I could, as I lost my family after COVID, when the whole world shifted. Everybody had to do what they had to do to survive, and I was left for dead in my brain. And those challenges for the last 5 years, I've been homeless. Not having a home, not having love, not having care, having people worried about me, but the people that worried about me didn't do anything about it. They just worried, as I've always did something for everyone that needed anything from me. And those who understand what I'm saying, they know that's a fact, that I'm still alive to tell the story. Who Washington Heights that know me, I didn't supply care or love to, or appreciation. I stopped many people from creating suicide. I stopped people from robbing others. I stopped people from paying their lawyers and getting new lawyers and getting out of the situations that they got into. I'm not saying I know it all, but I know that school wasn't for me. And as I have an 8th grade education, I realized that the education system wasn't going to supply me with what I needed to survive in this world of things that's created to do harm to us. I'm not a sinner. I'm a human being. Animals don't sin. They fight for survival. Words hurt, as they called me a criminal. Which animal's a criminal? And if I didn't learn a lesson, that makes me what? An animal? I'd rather be an animal, because the human being and humankind seem to be more criminal. I didn't create any of these things that is called illegal. I created love, harmony, and respect for those who needed my services. As I'm fighting to make America understand that most celebrities, most people that's on cameras, they get harmed. Most activists, African American, is harmed. Anybody that has a voice is harmed. And then they become valuable later on for their artwork. That's why I never wanted to be a celebrity, because to be a black person in this America, it's a nightmare. It's hard. I've had all type of FBI agents and friends that concern themselves about their participation in their jobs. I've had FBI agents watch me. I've had grand juries. I've had probation for 5 years. And I still had to find ways to get other people happiness through my survival skills of a community that needed it, like marijuana. That's just a plant like a rose, with THC in it. My life's been nothing but a nightmare. But in between them, I've had a lot of pleasure with my family that is Dominican. They don't know too much about African Americans and their suffering. They know about the culture of the love and the care, which I battled with love, because all I worried about was care. And my care was probably a little bit aggressive. I had to go on a vacation after my mom passed away to Puerto Rico. And when I was in Puerto Rico, I become an author of many books, because I noticed the graffiti on the walls, the junkies in the alleys, in the skate parks, in the streets. I seen that America wasn't alone in the challenges of the indigenous people that are addicted to something. Because I was addicted to everything that I had and I lost, from my restaurant to my party venue, to my lifestyle, to my car, to my jewelry, to my ex-wife, to my children. And when you lose it all, you have nothing else. You have nothing else but pain and suffering inside. And it's something that enters the core that needs relief. And graffiti and drugs is what a lot of people turn to, and no one sees it but me. My art became writing. And because of AI and my sons teaching me about AI, it made me into what people may say is a genius in figuring out emotions and feelings. As I documented my feelings and my awakenings and my understandings about the world and about how enslaved African Americans are and their bloodlines of suffering, and then immigration coming in and taking even more from the American dream of African Americans, I totally understand the manipulation skills that this place of Washington Heights had brought to me. As I've seen a lot of Dominicans in Puerto Rico with properties, and I've seen a lot of Puerto Ricans that was doing graffiti art and doing heroin in the parks. I'm not afraid to walk in the streets because I walk everywhere. If nothing is wrong, nothing is wrong. And they didn't see me as a threat because I say hello to everyone. Whether you're white, black, Chinese, Mexican, it doesn't matter. I show love to people, to mankind. There's no flag. Disrespect creates a problem, and hunger creates a problem. When you have an economy built on drugs, and you have all of these institutions built on drugs, you have to understand that it creates a psychosis in those that's affected by it. And it hurt me really bad, as in Puerto Rico, I did not go for pleasure. I want to document my feelings, as I felt like I was dying every single day since my mother died. Her spirit came inside me and helped me write. It helped me get over what possibly went wrong with her, and how it was unfair for her not to live her life into old age, but to die as a systemic war on sugars that has toxins in it and drugs. As when she passed away, I threw away from her room thousands of pills, and none of them worked. But she's not considered a drug user, but medicine. That didn't work. I don't feel 100% normal in my brain, I never have. But I know one thing, that not being normal creates an audience of people that want to know what's wrong or what's right. And I've only did right in my life, not knowing what's wrong. And to this day, I'm taking this video so you can understand that everything is right, but everything is wrong at the same time. Because we're alive, and African Americans is not at fault for the media documenting the stars, their privacy, the jails, the streets, all the things where all the black market and all the drugs and all the manipulation from all the empires of the world bring into our country. And it comes in and we get blamed for using them and fined. As we can never climb up the ladder and become nothing but a statistic, whether we're in jail, in our minds, in our bodies, in our souls, or just working for crap. As white America move up to the mountains in the West and build their fortunes and found ways to keep manipulating, like with social media and the phones that now are psychologically damaging America, just like the injections of heroin. Everybody's posted to their phone to see what's next. I have a wonderful son. Out of every kid that I have one that particular brought me into a world of Christianity. And I really never looked at a Bible, studied it. I heard about it. My kids have been Christians forever. My family has been Christians, but I never prayed. I bruised my body, my spine, my arms, my legs, my fingers, my ankles, my spleen, my forehead, dying inside all the time and never asked God for help. But for some reason, he kept me alive so my son can be my savior. And now that I'm in the Christian world, I understand the word of God and all the sacrifices that he made. As these days now I'm in Florida in a community of nothing but love and humbleness and beautifulness and sun baking my brain so I can grow every day. And I sleep now. After I lost it all and I thought I was losing my life. But this is all systemic challenges of what brought by the systemic ways of life in Washington Heights and in ghettos, all made by man. And everybody's looking for a direction and we're getting the wrong informations of what's true leadership. It seems as no one cares. As I watched my mom get buried and thrown in a place that the earth was new, a new burial place. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of bodies, freshly buried. To know my mother was one of them. After all the things I've done for people, and now I feel like I let her down. Her last words to me was, "Ben, why now? Why am I caring for her?" And I should have been caring for her. That burden is something I live with every day as I cry. And today is Father's Day, and I only think about my mother on Father's Day because I didn't have a father to guide me or to tell me it's gonna be all right. I had a mom that was annoying, but she was my mom and just wanted me to love her for who she was. And I didn't really get it up until now. My books is all about urban, my brain, how I feel, education, poems, songs, insights, and it's in a rawest form because I speak raw. And I'm all over the place, just as abstract as you hear, that's what I am. Abstract in my thoughts, because I don't like TV, never did. I like people. Not to say that everyone likes me, because my words is different. It's raw, and I don't think, unfiltered. I truly don't care what people thought about me or think about me, because I ran the streets. Everybody uptown know me. I've met so many celebrities. Tupac Shakur was a classmate of mine. In PS 28, Sugar Hill, where all those entertainments of new rappers come in. Rappers Delight were good friends of mine, customers of mine. DMX, Jay-Z, Fat Joe, Rough Riders. I've seen so many more, so many. Came to my restaurant, Solace Bar and Grill. I've entertained people. I always wanted to be something more, but I didn't know what to do because I had to raise a family and I was afraid. But all of these people that passed through my life is a spirit that touched me. And to see them gone, what is life about? It's about messages. It seems if you give a message of hope to African Americans or indigenous people, you're doomed. Drugs create good music, good art, because it goes to the core. And you sing about core things. That's why there's no one like Tupac, because he was raw. James Baldwin, an African American that wrote about the challenges in America. I'm compared to him. I don't know him, I didn't read about him, but my writings is compared to him because it's raw. And it's what happened to Americans, people that are enslaved from Africa and with bloodlines that are very resistant of systemic challenges. From Africa to America, what is black? What is nigger? What is words? I never was called those things in my face because I was a big, strong guy. And people from the Heights know me. I was a fighter, and I got the respect of people calling me Benson, a comedian, Black Butler. How ironic. He serves people. And that's what I did all my life, in a comical way, ironically. As God is my witness, I had no idea what the impact was going to be in society when it comes to making money and being a hustler. But I hustled all my life. I did whatever I had to do to get my kids to where they're going. And one of my kids became religious, and he's put me into a place of understanding of my journey and what I wanted to be. Have a father and walk with God and have a community respect me. Not of fear, but of respect. As my son get all the respect in his communities because of his heart and his wisdom and his bloodline. My writings is a whole new journey of travels and understandings about my brain. As my addiction and my brain, I feel it. I've never been psychologically evaluated. I never had treatment for this because there's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with the people thinking there's something wrong with me. Because when it has to do with care, you feel great. And love is the biggest addiction in the world once you lose it. Just like drugs. It's a bad word. It's equivalent to sugar. It's bad for the soul. Care doesn't harm. And I'm writing because I've been affected. I've been affected from challenges in my businesses, challenges with the Ku Klux Klan, swastika posted on back of my party venue, the cops in Waldwick, New Jersey that didn't do nothing about it. I've been maced in my mouth, left to die on the second floor. There's a video floating online where one white kid beat him up, but I was on the other side, gasping for air, as they wrote a swastika behind my party venue. And if I didn't have a keyless key to get into my car to put the air conditioner on, I would have died. And I had no one to talk to because my world was changed. I was left alone. These internal injuries created an operation in my stomach that I had to do on my own with no support, nobody to talk to. Just had to do what I had to do. As a man that I've always been, I fought my challenges on my own. But through the grace of God, I survived it. The last 5 years have been horrible for me. It's hard to sleep when you understand the world's against you, but no one beats me. This game of chess in Washington Heights and people playing checkers and dominoes, I've seen it all coming and I've seen it all going. And there's no more cash and everything is digital. And those digital things is the proof of why drugs was just meant to give people diseases and create an avalanche of profit for the masses. The way I see life is beyond most people because I came from the bottom, I rose to the top, and I went back to the bottom, leaving my home in Bergen County with every single thing inside of it, everything, to take care of my mom that was dying. And after she died, to Puerto Rico, to heal in the sun. Psychosis by systemic challenges is something a lot of people are going through, and no one can figure it out because they're listening to things that are not meant to heal. They're just duplicating what everyone is saying. I travel in a different direction, I always have, and that's what makes me different. The mind is a terrible thing to waste, and most of our brains are becoming manipulated, especially in the ghettos. So we can't think, and we're entertained by all the noise, all the lust, all the music, all the stories. But what is life if you don't have your own journey, but you know everyone else's journey? Well, I want to become the best artist ever to exist because my life is nothing but art of survival. And I want the people in the world to know that I meant no harm in nothing that I've ever did in my life. Respectfully, I've dodged bullets, I dodged law, I've dodged heartbreak, I survived my mom's poisonings, I survived the betrayals in the Dominican Republic, I survived all the things that I thought that I should never have, because money is cruel and it makes people do things just for their survival. Money is a joke, it's just paper and ink, just like a contract. Well, my life was not no contract and I survived it. And if anybody's interested in my artwork and my survival skills, you have my books, you have my photos, you have my Instagram, you have my life. As one African American from Washington Heights navigated the war on drugs that no one talk about. No one. It was a nightmare. And a lot of people lost their lives just for money. I'm still here and I'm still alive. And I may be a threat, but I died so many times that the threat doesn't mean anything to me. What means something to me is that I stayed alive after everything I've been through. I navigated Puerto Rico for 4 months on my own, going through every hood, documenting graffiti and drug users. There's no fear in people that need medicine. They're the most humblest people because they know their addictions. And when you don't have your addiction, you become violent. And that's when the cops come in and arrest you. But no one talks about why they're violent. But the recordings and the court cases are there to create more stories in the world about indigenous people and their behaviors. So it's the biggest manipulation of life of this century. Between sugars and drugs, that's the real enemy. Enemy number one, dopamine addictions that create hormones, imbalances, psychosis, desires, pleasures, and creates all of these things for us to fantasize and not realize that that's where the addiction lies. And they blame it on marijuana as the gate. It's not. It's a lollipop, it's the ice cream trucks. It's all the things that we see every day and we don't realize it. As I drank those quarter waters from a convenience store on my block, wondering why I was sweating profoundly. As a kid, didn't know I was gonna become an addictive person, which I am, and then later on an alcoholic, which I didn't realize. But pain creates what it creates in a person and you need a relief. Without pain, there's no such thing as a release or relief. And this is where the catch is at in life. It's all about the brain and taking care of the brain. Animals, they live through signals and respect. What are humans? When we have all of this communication, but our communication skills are not working. Abstract lies, myths, flags, bad history, and colors. As I am not black, I'm a human being that happen to be dark skinned. Black is not. It's not a race. It's not a culture. It's the most positive thing in the world because everything grows on the dark. And out of space, it's nothing but dark. And it's vast. And it's strong and powerful. Just like the Africans from Africa, named Black. I appreciate the time that I had in this life because this life belongs to me and I'm not embarrassed. As people are being trained to not speak their hearts, my heart is no longer in a box and I'm not afraid because what's going to happen to me is going to happen to me regardless. I've had a lot of happenings to me. There's no one that fought many wars every 5 years, living in the streets, living for the streets, and living for the indigenous people that were uneducated, but was educated enough to know numbers and to go back to their countries where they brought their space and their futures. I'm here in America, still being challenged by the government. But that's what we're born into, a slavery like no other. Life is beautiful when you have a community that loves you and cares for you. In my party venue, there was nothing bigger than the time of the grand entry, from having a bar mitzvah to bar mitzvahs, and also when a montage and a speech to see the Jewish community and to see the little girl coming into adulthood, respect her community and her peoples. Sometimes I used to weep and cry a little bit because I wanted that to be me. People don't know what it feels like not to have something and to see it in your face and want it, and then try to find that some way and somehow. I know what it is. I envy things because I didn't have it, but I created a family my way, and I broke all boundaries and relationships, and I fought for everything that I had and everything that I lost, and I don't have anything else to lose anymore. I have all thing to gain because now I have God in my life. And with that, I'd like to end this because what matters to me is my word, just like in the Bible, the word. I've always said my word is my word without a contract. And if you ever have a contract, that means your word is no good. The Bible isn't a contract. Pick it up if you want to. Read it, understand it. Whichever religion, it's a Bible. You read the religion, and you become a holy person. And once you become righteous, whichever God you believe in is going to take care of you because this earth belongs to us. It doesn't belong to the masters. There would be no masters without the people. And I don't understand why we're killing each other. With that said, I appreciate your time. My name is Vernon, and I hope you find your way of finding my art and my books and my journey and my life, and maybe it can help you some way to understand African American people and life for me. Maybe it'll make you see things differently and understand the world differently. Maybe it'll change the way media portrays people like me. Maybe everyone will pick up a Bible or a Quran or whatever it takes to respect each other. It just takes one person to start a movement. It just takes one person. Thank you and happy Father's Day, because today is Father's Day, and it's a perfect day for me to be a father to you guys, as I've always been in my community. God bless you guys.